Hello and welcome back. Welcome if you're new. If you're new here, my name is Elena. I'm the homeschooling mom to 3 kiddos, and I thought I would share with you how much I could read in a week. No 2 weeks are the same. I'm always trying to multitask. Like right now, I just saw I have something still charging, that a battery, and it shouldn't. The rechargeable batteries, you leave them on there too long, they kind of swell up sometimes, and that's not a good thing. Anyways, that's not what you're here for. We're going to talk about reading. We're going to see how much we can read in a week. No 2 weeks are ever the same for us. Always things that are a little bit different. Same with this week. So this particular week, my husband has a somewhat unexpected work trip to take, and they just added on an extra day to it. So I'm going to be a little bit extra busier. I wanted to combine busier and extra, and it didn't work. Clearly, I'm tired. We've been go this morning. It is Monday and it is almost 2. It's 1:55. So by the time I wrap this up, let's say it's 2 o'clock. And I haven't got to read anything today, which is okay, aside from Bible studies and like homeschool stuff. I was homeschooling with the kiddos. But we got a good start on our Monday, on our week, and homeschooling and getting into our rhythm, which is really important since this week is going to be a little bit tougher. I thought, why not? Let's see how much we can get reading, see if I can get more reading since he's gone. And I don't know if I know I'll be busier because I try to keep the kids occupied, like more so, but also at the same time, I was talking with the kids and we're both kind of like, well, we do want to do stuff. We are feeling like tired. And so we'll just have to wait and see. But like I said, it was a productive morning. And so I'm just going to sit down and read. And so I thought I'd pick up and film the intro. I am going to read on, this is one of my kids' old, what do you call those tablets? The Amazon Fire tablets, and I was trying to see if I could show you the cover of the book, but I don't think it shows up on the Kindle app. It doesn't. It just says it's a PDF. So, so it didn't say, but this one I do have a picture. This is actually an older book, Finding Her Edge, but it has the little Netflix thing on it, so I'm wondering if it's coming out and that's why they re-released it. This is a NetGalley book for me, and so that's why I'm wondering if that's why they re-released it and like trying to boost up the reviews before the Netflix comes out, or if it already came out. I don't know. I should probably do a little more research on that, but I am trying to slowly get my NetGalley percentage back up a smidgeroo. I'm at I think I'm at 50% right now, which was better than I was. I was like at something crazy like 30 or something like that. I don't know, it was pretty low. So I'm gonna sit down and read. We're 21% through of this book. The kids are going to have a little bit of free time, like I said, before we move on to our next activity. And I told them Mom's gonna go upstairs and just kind of take a minute to breathe and relax. My body is really aching today and hurting, and sometimes it's just, you just never know. So I'm gonna start to read, and we'll see how much reading we get done and how much we get done the rest of today too. So let's find out how much this average homeschool mommy can read in a week. Hello, it is the next day. I am in my book. I've still been reading the same book. I haven't picked up another one or started one. I tried to last night. I tried to pick up a Beauty and the Beast book. I can't remember. Lost in a Book or something, like I think it was in the library, and to be my end of the year to be read update video, whatever I titled that. Oh my gosh. As you can tell, I'm extremely tired. It has been, since I've seen you. So, okay, let's give the book update. 68% is what I'm at in Finding Her Edge. I usually read my digital reads when I go to bed because I don't want to have a lamp on and disturb my husband with a bright reading light, and so I found that the digital reads are a little bit easier to do that. I have been reading Finding Her Edge, and I tried to read it on my phone, but I have an older phone, and the print, it was so tiny I couldn't see it, and so finally I picked up one of my kids, their old tablet. I don't even remember. I think it didn't charge or hold the charge long enough for my kiddos, and so we ended up replacing it, but it's holding a charge long enough for me, so I'm gonna just keep using it. So I've been using that to read Finding Her Edge, and it's been so much easier. So Like I said, I tried to start a physical book last night, but I couldn't do it. I would read like a sentence and then I think my brain was already kind of like fried. So I read 50% on the digital read, and then I was up every couple of hours last night, and so between that and this morning I got to the 60 whatever percent I just said. I'm really tired and I have a headache. I was trying to relax for a moment, and then I thought, let me just get outside and get some fresh air and see if that might help. And I might try to do that, but my kids are on their own schedule, so I was gonna go, but then one jumped in the shower and then one started something else, so I couldn't leave, and so that's where I'm at right now, and I'm just waiting so that I can go for a little walk. I probably need some water. I decided to have some, we call it bubble water, but it's just sparkling water. So I'm gonna drink that and hopefully this headache goes away. I already had a cup and a half of coffee, so I don't want to have any more because I might go ahead and treat myself to some this evening, just to push myself through and stay awake. I know, probably not the smartest thing, but I just do what we gotta do, right? Okay, I just want to give an update. That's where we're at with the book. The book is pretty good. Now that I am able to see the words and read it a little bit better, I am enjoying it more. I will say I can see why Netflix is going to, or I can see why this was picked up to be on screen, because it's got all the like soap opera type vibes, right? We are following, named Adriana, told from her perspective. Ariana, man, I really should know these things, right? Adriana is under immense pressure, both because she's a professional skater and there's just a lot of pressure in there, and they're trying to get to the Olympics and get their scores. Her older sister has just come back from the Olympics, and there's, you know, so the whole family skates. Her mom has passed away, and so she's got, you know, just those kind of just immense, a lot of stuff happening. But also then there's that love triangle. So like I said, I could see why it got picked up and how like it would probably appeal on screen because of that, because it keeps moving and it's pretty quick. So now that like I said, now that I can finally see the words and I'm not as frustrated trying to read it, it's actually been a better reading experience. So good to know. I had that too with another PDF that I tried to read from NetGalley. Once I was like, I think I just ended up finishing reading it on my computer because then I could finally see the screen. You think I'd learn, but no, I just go ahead and keep reading them. I wish NetGalley had, I don't think it's NetGalley though, I think it's like the actual publishing house. More of them would be on the Kobo readers, that they would do that option, because that makes it so much easier to read for me. But I mean, like they care what's easier for me, you know? Anyways, that's the update. I'm baking some bread, and I think I'm preparing to bake some bread. So I think that timer just went off. I'm gonna go get that ready, and then hopefully I can get for a walk and get this headache gone, because we have stuff to do this week. We gotta keep momming. We gotta keep doing life, right? Okay, I know the lighting is not fantastic, but I want to get this done. So this is the Kobo that I got, and look at the little pop socket that I got has tomatoes on it. Fun fact, I don't even really like tomatoes, but this is the one that I got. I think I was in a hurry to get one, and it was on clearance. But I have since got this one. Where do I go? This one, I don't know if it's gonna focus for you or show you. Flowers, but you can oh, maybe there, can you see it? Little flowers, and it's clear. So I think I'm gonna trade it out, but I'm still gonna use the tomato because I'm gonna use it on this old tablet that the kids had, and I am now using to read the Kindle books on. Those are my kids. I thought I would change the cover out for this one. This one I made on Canva, and I just kind of try to estimate what it would look like, and I didn't realize right there, the bow is, that's where I have the little pop socket thing. So hopefully these will do a little better. I just had these printed out, and I had bought a template on Etsy specifically for this. So hopefully it fits a little better. So I have this one. This one here says restart, reset, refocus, cold weather plans, curl up, be cozy, read, sip, and then take it one page at a time. So I just thought maybe like after Christmas that would work, because this one feels, actually it kind of feels like fall still. Coffee, books. I think I'm gonna use this one because we've had no snowfall yet. And now we've got these two things done. I wanted to give you an update. Today's Wednesday. It's like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I have not read today. I tried to pick up a book to read. I did finish the NetGalley book. Did I tell you that? Maybe I finished it last night or yesterday. Gosh, all the days are like running into each other, so this is probably not a good time to do a weekly vlog, but we already started, so here we are. I finished the book Finding Her Edge, and it turned out to be really, really good. I thought the book was not quite a 5-star, but I don't know if some of that had to do with the beginning was a little bit tough for me. It could have been a little tough for me because it's a PDF and it was hard for me to read until I finally just went and found one of my kids' old tablet things to read on. So then it became a little bit easier. And then I was able to like really dive into the book, and I really enjoyed it. And I can completely see how they're going to make this a Netflix. It's going to come onto the screen because it has so much happening at all the time. It's got a love triangle. It is a fairly clean read. There's some kissing, but there's nothing beyond that, which makes sense because these are kids. They're in high school. But they are professional ice skaters, and so there's pressure from being that. People are going to the Olympics. People are trying to get to the Olympics. Adriana is our main character, and she is the middle child from an ice skating dynasty, essentially. And so there's deep pressure for her, but also sometimes she gets overlooked and she just has to be like the responsible one. And so her love triangle is what we're centered around in this book, and it's between her old partner and her new partner. And I didn't know. When I'm reading these things, I usually have a clear person that I'm like, you need to be with this one. This one I kept going back and forth, and I was just like there for the ride and trying to see, I don't know, who will she pick, and will they pick her back? And like, it was pretty good. And then also in the midst of the love triangle, and then the pressure from being an Olympic or trying to be an Olympic skater. Actually, I could do a better job at explaining that, but when you read the book, if you read the book, you'll understand. Her dad and her mom has passed away, but her dad is caring for her, and they have their own skating rink and place that they own it, and then he's made it into this huge thing, but at an expense to the family. And so she is the one that is trying to reel in the spending, and that gets a little tricky as well. So all the way through the book kept my attention. It was great. So now I'm trying to figure out what I want to read next. And normally I have like 3 books that I'm reading at the same time. An audio book, a digital book, and a physical book is not uncommon for me to be reading. But I tried to pick up the 3rd book in the Timeless series by Gabrielle Meyer. I'm looking on my desk, and I have a couple of library books there. None of them are really calling to me. None of them, I don't know. So I thought I'd come here to this corner and see if there were any books that I actually own that I want to read. I did start last night because I was looking for something, because I had finished it. I must have just finished it yesterday then. I had another book. I've been trying to get my NetGalley score up just a little bit. So after I finished the Finding Her Edge book, I think I got to like 52%, which is still not great, but smidge-rooney higher, that's not a word, Okay, then I have some old books that I was supposed to be reading and I didn't ever do it. And so I'm trying to go back and read some of those maybe. One of them is Life Creative, Inspiration for Today's Renaissance Mom. This is by Wendy Speak and Kelly Stewart. I am about 17% through, and this one kind of talks about how when you become a mom, sometimes you can lose that creative time. You are a creative person and you kind of use that, and God used it to fill your soul. And it talks about, it is a faith-based book, because it does mentions God and it talks deeply about it, which I'm here for it. I often think about the gifts that God has given us, and I've talked about my kids who can draw, and I really believe that is a God-given ability. Especially one of my children is showing to me such talent at such a young age, and I'm just so thoroughly like impressed with this gift, and I'm like, wow, what will you do with it, and what will God do with it? And I've often let them know, like, before you draw, it's great to just send up a quick prayer and ask, what do you want me to do with this, Lord, today? What would you have me do? Invite him into the space. But anyways, so it kind of talks to that about how when you are a creative person and then you become a mom, you can not have as much time as you used to for these things, and how maybe sometimes that also eats away a little bit at you, and you need to find this outlet. I like to be creative, but I am in no way, like, I don't think that this is a talent. I'm not excelling at anything. But I like it. I like the process of it, right? I like to do some stuff. So anyways, it's been an interesting read so far. Like I said, I'm only 17% in, and the first couple of chapters, I think I'm only like in chapter 3, or I just finished chapter 3. Some of it really resonates with me, and some of it hasn't. Some of it I've kind of been like, that's an interesting take on that. But I don't know, we'll see. We'll finish it up. I'm kind of reading along. We're at a part where it's one of those, I don't know, that maybe it doesn't really apply to me, is what I guess I should say, because it's about when your kids are old enough to go off to school, and then you find yourself having this free time. You have like 3 hours of free time twice a week because you send them to school. It's very specific. So I think it's very specific to the author, whichever woman wrote that was what was happening in her period of life, in her season of life where she was. Because I homeschool. I did send my oldest to school. He went to preschool and then kinder, and then that was it. And so, but I was working at the time, and so it wasn't the same experience for me. So, that's just it. It just wasn't the same experience for me. Anyways, let's get back to picking a different book. I thought I would take a look here. And trying to take a look here, I started to look at, it made me wonder what else was on this shelf. The shelf here is Christian nonfiction mostly. There's some devotionals, but it's mostly that. On the other side is supposed to be the books that I read, but I found some that I didn't read, including Unsatisfied. This one is Dare to Find Contentment in an Unhappy World, and this is also one of the, I'm losing myself with it. This is also one of the NetGalley books, I think, that is on my shelf that I haven't read. I started it, I got to page 4. That was it. So this one was on it. Also, I was looking for this book because I thought this is also on my NetGalley book, but I also was like, oh, I should pick this up and take a look at it too. And I thought, oh no, did I get rid of it? But I didn't. It was just in a different spot. This one is called Marriage Triggers. I don't want to send anything out there. Our marriage is good, but I always feel like it could be better. You could always be working at it, right? So this one is Exchanging Spouses' Angry Reactions for Gentle Biblical Responses. And this is by Amber Leah and Guy Leah. They also, though, Amber Leah wrote with Wendy Speak, who is one of the authors on the creative book. Amber Leah, I don't think it's the other author on there, but I could be wrong. Anyways, they wrote Triggers. And this one is Exchanging Parents' Angry Reactions for Gentle Biblical Responses. And so this one walks through if you struggle with anger as a parent and you want to kind of curb that a little in your parenting, right? This one I got it she autographed it at a homeschool conference that I had got to go to. And so that's where this one is. And then I was able to get an advance copy on this one. And so I was just looking and realized I had these, but I don't think this is what I'm going to pull up to read either. I just thought I would share with you maybe something we read quite a bit on this shelf. I really need to start working on it. And then we have all of these. There is books behind this. This is, the majority is from the library sale. It is Christmas, so you could do a Christmas book. I have a bunch of, this is like a Christmas stack here. And then we have the TBR by the end of the year here. I think there's a Christmas book. Yeah, the Christmas Boutique. This is the Elm Creek story. Oh, I should pick this one up. I'm not your perfect Mexican daughter, although I feel like this one's going to start to cut deep, and I don't know that I want to fill all the fillings. I don't want to fill all the fillings. That's probably why I haven't picked this one up. I talked about this in the TBR by the end of the year. This is my mom's book, and I really need to return it. And I don't even know if my mom remembers that I still have it. So she doesn't watch my channel, so I don't think she's gonna. But I should get that back to her. I should just ask her, send her a text, and be like, I haven't read this. Do you want it back? So this would be the next one in the Elm Creek quilts, the Giving quilt. So maybe we'll start this one. I was thinking about how I could be reading this one or an Anna Green Gable, the last one in the series. These are all no's. Gosh, there's so many choices. Because then I'm like, yeah, I think we'll do this one. And then I looked over here and I was like, or maybe we'll do a reread of the American Majesty, or the American Royal series. There's that. I don't think so. The Hobbit. There's a Hobbit. Behind the Hobbit is the Percy Jackson series. I've only read the first one. Maybe a nice little YA book. So, okay, let's do this. Let's start this one. And if it doesn't capture my attention, we'll try to switch over to Percy Jackson. Things of being a mood reader, right? Is there any other reader, though? If you're not a mood reader, let me know what kind of reader you are. Like, do you just set your TBR and then you stick with it and you feel good about having a plan? Because what other kind of reader is there? I don't know. Okay, I think I'm going to start this. And then, like I said, we'll see. We'll switch off. Now that I made a mess, first we have to clean up. Really yellow in here because it's really overcast outside, and I think that's the color of our bulbs in here. Maybe I should change that out, but it's already Monday. I stopped filming sometime in the middle of the week, I think, and was just doing life. It ended up getting it was busy, and I'm trying to pull up on Storygraph so I can kind of keep track of what I've finished reading and give you an update. I thought of scrapping the whole video and trying again this week, but we're just gonna use what we have. I'm gonna tell you what he did, what I read, and some weeks are just like that. Thursday was, I can't see that far. That's cute that I thought I was gonna read the calendar that far away. I'm on the other side of the room, and I really need to get my eyes checked. I think I'm getting there. I think we're getting old. I think it's time for readers. I'm gonna go like full grandma mode and get the chain, and then put my glasses on it. I don't know. I'm just talking crazy now. Okay, let's talk about what we read. I think I was going to start either The Giving Quilt or a different book, I believe. I ended up starting The Giving Quilt. I will give you an update on that because that book is down below. It's a physical book. But then I also was finishing up because I had already started a Wells Landing Christmas. This is part of the Wells Landing series, the Amish reads that I've been doing. If you've been kind of hanging out with me for a bit, you know that the last couple of books I read were Wells Landing books. And this Amish series keeps me guessing. This is not the general formula that they go in. I liken these books that I read, the Amish romance, to Hallmark movies because they're clean reads. You typically know how it's going to end. And, you know, it's just like a feel good, nice palate cleanser or break that you sometimes need when you're reading, or I need anyways, like that nice little mental break. And so this series though is not following that exact formula. There's been a few twists and turns where I'm like, oh, didn't see that coming. And that's never happened in an Amish read before. And so it's been interesting. It's been good. It's still Hallmark-ish. Like it's still very clean reads, but some surprises. And so that's what's kept me really into reading these and continuing on in the series. In the Wells Lending Christmas book, it follows Ivy, and Ivy is mentioned at the end of the book prior. So this is book 7. So at the end of book 6, Ivy is mentioned, and she is kind of in book 6, she's mentioned as a little bit of a troublemaker where she's gossiping essentially and somebody overhears her. And then the character in book 6 describes her as a little bit loose. So she's on her break, her Amish break with the Rumspringa. I don't think I'm saying it right, but they get to take a little break before they decide if they want to commit to the church or not. And so she's been on that, and rumor has it that she's taking full advantage of it and just kind of what they say is easy. But in here we find Ivy's story. We find out if those rumors are actually true. Has a Christmas setting, but it is kind of in the background. It's not full on Christmas. There's a lot of mention of Christmas cookies though. She works in a bakery, so be prepared for that. If you're anything like me, when you're reading it, I was like, ooh, I want a cookie now. So, but this one was a really good book. Again, like I said, it is a clean read, and it would have that like feel good feelings, but there was also some really real things in here. There is a character that is maybe struggling with dementia or Alzheimer's, and so be forewarned if that is something that is triggering for you. That's mentioned in here, and as well as miscarriage and just rumors and things like that come into play. And so, but I enjoyed this book as well. So I did end up finishing that one. That was a digital read. And then I was reading, I had checked out from the library For a Lifetime. This is the third book. Is it the third book? Let me double check. Yes, the third book in the Timeless series by Gabrielle Meyer. And I've gone back and forth on the first 2 books. The first book I read, I was very late to the game, and I read it, and I enjoyed it. It was okay. The ending clinched it, and I was like, I gotta know what's gonna happen in the second one. Second one, same thing. I got to the second one, and somewhere in this book, in the middle-ish, I was like, are we done yet? The main character in one of her timelines was kind of working my nerves. I was upset that she couldn't see what I could see as the reader, and I know that's unfair, but there was that feelings for me. And then but the ending, the way that it left off, I was like, must pick up the third book. So I did. I ended up putting the physical book on hold, and then I put the digital book on hold too, just to see what would come out, which I could get first. I ended up getting the physical read, and I was having a hard time reading it. I think it's just the fact that it is a physical book, because it's just not the season. It's just so much easier for me to grab this at night and read, and that is the majority of the time that I'm reading. So as you can see from this week, I did like baking, I did just mom duties, trying to keep up with homeschool, trying to figure out how to tidy up. I've been wanting to purge and declutter areas and do deep cleans of things, and of course get decorated for Christmas. And so it's just been a lot. And the only time that I'm really sitting down and getting to dive in deep into a book is in the evening hours when it finally quiets down for the night. So the For a Lifetime ended up coming. I forgot that I still had it on hold, and so I think I'm going to return the physical copy and keep reading it on the e-reader. I also was reading a different book on the e-reader that I mentioned on here, Life Creative. I've been reading that here and there. Because this one became available, I kind of put the other one down. I do like the Life Creative. It is a NetGalley book. Since I started it, kind of want to finish it, kind of want to see it through. There are parts of it that I can really relate to, and I've been highlighting. But then, like I said before, there are parts where I was like, you just want to take that with a grain of salt, and maybe it doesn't apply to me, which is fine. That's great. I think that's kind of how all books can be taken, right? Take what you want to take from it and then move on. And let me give you an update. Let me change positions. Let me change locations and give you an update on the other book we were reading, The Giving Quilt. Now we're gonna film on the phone because I'm too lazy. I had too much in my hand to bring down. It's just real life happening here. So I also was gonna look for the cover, the book sleeve cover of this so I could show you, but I didn't do that either. I probably should have because I am really beating this book up, but it's okay. It's all right, it's mine. This is where we're at with this book. Maybe that's a more accurate view. We're getting there. We're almost done. This one is actually more of a Thanksgiving story, which is kind of perfect timing because that's where, at the time of filming, it is the week before Thanksgiving for me. So that's where we're at. That's how far I'm into the book, but it's only, a bunch of papers fell out, but it's only chapter 5. The chapters in this book are really long. So as I was reading and I was like, I'm just gonna read one chapter and see if I wanna continue on in this book. Like the first chapter, I think is something like 44 pages long. So the chapters are really long, but that's because in here we are following different people who are taking a quilt camp. They all go to quilt camp, but this is what they call quilt giving. Something like that. The title of the book is The Giving Quilt, and it takes place, like I said, over Thanksgiving time. And they have a charity that they are making quilts for. It's called the Linus Project, charity that gives quilts to children in need, I think, and families in need. I think it's just children, but it could be whole families. I don't know. Really, I should have paid more attention before I turned the camera on. And in here, what the Elm Creek Manor does. The Elm Creek Manor is now a quilt camp. They give a week stay at the manor for free, and the thing is that you will build these quilts and then give them away to this project. So it's a charity, an incentive to send quilts to this charity. You can bring your own quilts that you've started and just work on them. But the idea is that you finish one and you donate it. So I'm imagining that these are not like full size. These probably are children's size quilts. But anyways, the first chapter is just the setup of the camp and what they're doing and how it goes about and the people coming in. And we kind of get an overall view of a couple of the characters. And then so far, each chapter thereafter is following one of the characters, one of the people that have come to the camp. And it is like telling their story and why they're there and what's going on in their life. So I do want to finish this, but like I said, this is going to take me a little bit longer than digital reads right now because that's just life right now. So I am waiting for my littles so we can get started with homeschool and then, you know, all the mom things I probably won't get to read until, again, later this evening. But that was kind of how the week went. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. Let me know what you want to see here on the channel. I love to talk about books and I'm trying really hard to like make it fit, but I don't know if this was too lifestyle-y or, you know, I don't know. Anyways, thanks for hanging out with me.